Battle Royales have dominated the gaming industry for the last 5 years, so today we're going to be taking a look at a big list of them and trying to rank them on a tier list. Hey everyone, it's FourEyes Dave here. Welcome back to another video. Today, something a little bit different. We are doing my first tier list, and I'm so excited because whilst a lot of my content is dedicated to guides, news, info, I do like just talking about my opinions sometimes as well, and I want to get to doing more of this kind of content. And what better way to give my opinions than a tier list of 21 Battle Royale games. Now, this list, I'm going to be going kind of from left to right here, so starting with Big Boy Warzone and ending on some lesser known Battle Royales. So if you just want to stick around and watch the ones that you know about, then they might be near the beginning. Otherwise, they'll be all timestamped down below, but it'd be awesome if you guys could watch through, see how I rank these, and give your opinions on them too. But before we jump into this video, today's video is sponsored by Ridge Wallet. So Ridge were kind enough to send me over one of their forged carbon style wallets. I've been using it for a week now and I honestly love it. If I was going to pick my two favorite things about the wallet and its design, number one would be the smooth inside edges where your cards go. It's just so easy to slide in and out cards when you want them. And secondly, just simply the size. It's literally half the size of my previous bulky wallet, and this fits so much easier in my pocket at all times during the day. The little money belt on the back is just a nice little addition that allows you to carry around cash if you're still using cash at the moment. If you're thinking about picking up a Ridge wallet, then be sure to head to my link in the description and use my coupon code 4Dave at checkout for 10% off. Okay, so let's begin. I want to give a quick disclaimer that I will be looking over a couple of times to my left screen because I've written some stuff down on there just to give me some notes so I don't ramble on too much. Within these tiers, we've got S, great, A, which is good, B, average, C, bad, and D, horrible. Within each of these tiers, if we put something to the left of another one, that means it's better. So, for example, we've got Warzone and Fortnite here. If I was to put Warzone at B and Fortnite at B, then Warzone would be better than Fortnite here. Or if I swap them around, it means Fortnite's better. The other thing, very quickly, is that I have played all of these games a decent amount, and it means I can give my opinion on them. The other thing is I'm basing these on an overall grade of the game, not just that it's best, not lingering too much on things that made it bad in certain kind of times. I'm looking at it from a complete holistic view and saying from start to finish, how has this game done and how would I rate it? So let's begin with Big Daddy Warzone. Warzone is currently the biggest Battle Royale game that you can play. It's basically revived the COD franchise, many people would say. COD was kind of, in terms of player base at least, it was kind of dwindling. There were a lot of other games, PC-wise, that were taking over. COD was very much becoming like a console game, not much focus on the PC side. And then Warzone comes along, and Modern Warfare 2019, obviously the game that Warzone spun off from, and it's just been a non-stop ride for this game. It's been awesome. I've had a hell of a lot of fun playing this game, and also a hell of a lot of problems with the game. Kind of going down the main pros, it's the COD engine, so it's incredibly smooth to play most of the time. Really, really solid movement. I actually liked the original map we got with the game, Verdansk. Now, we have had it for a long time, and when I come to talk about some cons in just a sec, that will come up. But Verdansk as a map is pretty solid. We've got a lot of different varied places to go. I really, really like the gulag system. That whole way of you die once, you go and fight someone 1v1, and you just fight to the death. If you win, you're back in. I think it's really revolutionized the idea of, you're never out. You can be bought back. There's contracts that bring you back. I like the contract system. That's really awesome. In terms of the stuff I don't really like as much, really since the Cold War integration of guns, there's been so much unbalanced stuff or things just not working. New developments, apart from just new guns, have been very slow. Like every season, it doesn't really feel like we get that much new into the game. And obviously the cheaters and hackers is a big problem as well, but that's hopefully being fixed with the Vanguard update. I think the Vanguard integration with the new map brings some real interesting new life into the game coming forward. In terms of ranking Warzone, I'm going to have to start off by just shoving Warzone. In comparison to other ones on this list, it has to be an S tier for me, just starting off, because it's done so much right, and I think the things that it's done wrong are definitely fixable. the actual core of the game has so much potential that it has to be an S tier, and just in terms of its popularity and how well it's done. Moving on to Fortnite. I haven't played a huge amount of Fortnite, as many people haven't, basically since kind of end of Chapter 1. But Fortnite revolutionized what a video game means, really. I mean, Fortnite now, some people don't like it because of the amount of almost like advertising that is in Fortnite for like game characters and stuff. I'm all for it. I think it's a really cool idea that you can just run around as Batman in Fortnite. I think that's just really cool. And then you can also run around as a psycho from Borderlands. And I think just these skins and the way that Fortnite monetized itself was very, very true to itself. There's not really a loot box system. Fortnite brought in the Battle Pass system over the idea of, I guess, just loads of DLC content. And we got continuous, incredible amounts of free content dropping basically every week, along with every season, new massive map changes. This game absolutely tried to set the standard for how much you can update a game. Now, that was to the detriment of a lot of the people who were working on the game. Obviously, there's a lot of stories that came out that people were just being pushed to their limits, and I can understand that that was never going to be sustainable. And because of that, people now look at the game as kind of being dead or just so slow in comparison to what it used to be. And that's a really unfortunate thing. It would have been lovely if they could have kept it going, but I understand why they couldn't keep going at that pace. I think the biggest issue with Fortnite, honestly, is that the skill floor to be able to just play and enjoy the game just got way too high. The building system, whilst being really, really creative, it's gotten to a point now where I think it's actually really hard for new players to get into a game and enjoy it that much. You know, when there's games like Warzone out there, which, yes, you might say they're noob friendly, but it means that you and your friends can jump on and play it and not just get your butt handed to you from someone else. Fortnite, I think purely because of its peak, I'm going to have to put it in S tier as well. I'm going to put it below Warzone because I think that Warzone, apart from its cheater problem and some of the unbalanced issues, I think Warzone overall is more of a complete game. And more of a more expansive. I think Fortnite still has massive potential, but we're going to have to see if they can pull back more people, because right now I would consider it worse than Warzone. Next, let's move on to Apex Legends. What to say about Apex? It's obviously had a massive resurgence recently, basically because of Warzone having a bit of a shit time at the moment. But Apex has been popular for ages. It has that high time to kill that attracts a lot of people in terms of this kind of tactical gameplay. It's not like, oh, I just got beamed from someone I didn't see and I'm dead and I'm out of the game. It's more like the fights feel very, very skill-based. The movement system in Apex is obviously unmatched. You've got this unrivaled movement in terms of your sliding around. I love that this game really nails the idea of basically picking a character, having abilities, and having a main that you really like playing and stuff. That's always a really nice thing in a game when you can really show off your skills, even outside of shooting, in terms of like movement, agent ability usage, and stuff like that. That's a really, really nice thing to see. In terms of the cons of this game, a lot of people say, and this is probably the biggest thing that I have to say about this game, it's the shooting at shields gameplay. It always just feels like all you're doing is ripping people's shields off. And this kind of comes down to that time to kill, where it's more skillful, but there's very little instant satisfaction with the game until you get like incredibly good at it. I feel like Apex should be my favorite Battle Royale. Based on all of the ingredients of it and the potential it has, I feel like Apex should be like my top, but it's not. It's just not. I think it's an S tier. I think it's better than Fortnite, but I think overall for me at the moment, Warzone is a better game. I mean, Apex has been doing really well with the map updates. If Warzone did the kind of map updates and the different maps as much as Apex, then Warzone would be like absolutely incredible. And we're getting the new map and stuff. But yeah, so for me, the big three rank like this. I think they're all S tier games. There's a reason why they're at the top of this. But I'd say this is currently my representation of that top three. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Playerunknown's Battlegrounds. This game had still, out of all the Battle Royale games I've played, had the highest highs. It really did. It revolutionized Battle Royales. Like, There was H1Z1 before it, which we'll cover in a bit. There was Arma 3 Battle Royale, which kind of started the whole thing off. But Playerunknown's Battlegrounds was a real mainstream attempt at just pushing this genre. And it did well. It did really well. But whilst it kind of is still probably, I guess, the only tactical Battle Royale, this game had a lot of problems. And I feel like we dealt with them because of the highs that you got from those crazy funny moments. The moments where we were watching Shroud absolutely destroy people would just made us want to jump on this game. And the fact that there just really wasn't other alternatives. This was really kind of pre-Fortnite, pre-Apex, pre-Warzone. This game ran awfully on PC. It was really, really badly optimized. It felt clunky. Walking around, like the opening and closing of doors, the picking up items, there was so much actually buggy in the game. I feel like, I don't know whether I want to put this in A or B. I feel like I have to put it in A purely for the main highlights, but I can almost guarantee you this is going to be like far right of A. I think there's plenty of games which are better than this, honestly. I think if Battlegrounds got released now, it would struggle. I just think it would. I just don't think it would do that well because it's just not very fun to play and it feels clunky. So I think it had its time, and I have to give it A for the amount of things it pushed us in the direction of. But yeah, Battlegrounds gets an A from me. H1Z1. I've got quite a lot of interesting opinions to give on this, but I'm not going to dwell on it for too long. Things this game did well. This was before Playerunknown's Battlegrounds. I believe it was developed by Playerunknown, who made Arma 3 Battle Royale, which we'll come on to in a bit. But really, I think that most of what people remember about this game, at least from my opinion, is nostalgia. I don't think it did that well. I think the shooting mechanics felt really good in it. The driving mechanics felt very fluid. It was very arcadey feel. But, I mean, the map was boring. The gun choice was pretty boring. The game was pretty much played in third person most of the time. And third person kind of standard shooter BRs are just like peak fests where you just sit behind walls and look over them where people can't see you because you're looking in third person over your character. I really don't think H1Z1 was that good a game. I think that it was the best of a bad bunch at the time because people were still figuring out what Battle Royales were. I'm going to put H1Z1 in B. I think it's going to be low B. I don't think it's a bad game. And I feel like it had some weight behind it because of the amount of people that enjoyed playing it. So I'm going to put it at B. But I think it's like a low average game. Okay, Hyperscape. Oh, Hyperscape. I remember seeing I say I remember, it's almost as if like this game came out ages ago. It didn't. It came out literally last year, and it's already basically dead. And I don't say that for a lot of games because I don't like this word being thrown around. Like people saying Fortnite's a dead game. No, it's not. Still loads of people play it. You just don't play it. Hyperscape is pretty much a dead game. I don't know what the player base is like on it, but it came out a year ago. I remember seeing the trailer for it and thinking, oh, this looks really interesting. It's like, it's an arena shooter, but in a Battle Royale theme. It's something we hadn't had before. But the skill floor was stupidly high in this game. It just felt like you were just getting absolutely destroyed by everyone. I don't think games need to be noob friendly, but if you were just like slightly cracked with your aim, you just destroy people. The map was horrific, honestly, overall. It really just was not good. Really boring. Just loads of running around inside buildings. You were either running around inside these really tight, boring, like skyscraper buildings, running into like these weird apartments, or you were just jumping on top of random roofs that all look the same. Really not a very interesting map. I think the things this game did well, it ran well on PC. It ran really well. The shooting mechanics were like fairly fun and fluid. I like the idea of you ranking up your weapons by finding more of the same weapon. I think that's something interesting, obviously based on the idea that the guns are really the core part of an arena shooter. I think the idea of obviously there was no getting attachments and stuff. So the idea you had to go find the weapon again and pick it up, and that made it better. The abilities overall were pretty fun, but you naturally just found ones that were way better than others, and therefore there were some that were fun to use, but like, why would you ever use them when you could use these other ones that are just better? Hyperscape goes in C tier for me. It could very easily be a D, just purely based on the fact that, I mean, it's basically dead now. But I think there's games on this list that are worse. So, yeah, we'll put this at C tier. Next up, Call of Duty Blackout. COD Blackout, I didn't play as much of as I think I should have. And I think the main reason why I actually didn't is I really, really enjoyed Black Ops 4, the COD game, on PC. It's probably actually one of my favourite of the last. I think that and Modern Warfare are like very similar games in terms of how high I put them in my last few COD games. But I think I found Black Ops 4 more fun. And because of that, I didn't actually play that much Blackout. But what I did play of Blackout, it's on the COD engine, so it ran pretty well. But it always just felt like a bit of like a hashed-on extension to Black Ops 4. It felt like they hadn't adjusted the mechanics enough to really make it feel like a pure BR. But the map was really awesome, bringing in loads of those COD maps, having the Nuketown area when they brought in the hijacked boat. They had like the firing range area. These are all amazing maps from the COD Black Ops series, and you've got them all on this map, and you've got all these guns as well that was fun to run around with. It really was, a game for COD fans, specifically Black Ops fans, and I think they just did a really good job with that. Looking into it more, it makes sense that probably Blackout was kind of canned because Warzone was going to be released and there was a new engine coming out. So Blackout really didn't have a long future ahead of it. Whereas Warzone now has this massive future of updates coming in from all these different games. Blackout was never going to make it through to the next game because the engine changed, unless we were going to get like a Blackout 2. So it was kind of hindered by that. I'm going to put Blackout at A tier, above PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. I feel like it had really strong potential. It never really met that potential because we had Warzone around the corner, and that kind of makes sense. Next, we've got Fall Guys. Fall Guys. Where am I going to put Fall Guys? I'm not even gonna sugarcoat it. Fall Guys goes in S tier for me. And why do I put Fall Guys in S tier? A lot of you guys will say Fall Guys isn't a battle royale. You don't go around killing people, picking up guns and looting and stuff. It's not a battle royale. Well, it's a load of people. It's 60 people. You compete to be the last person alive. Just because it's like Takeshi's Castle rather than like Arma 3 Battle Royale doesn't mean it's not a Battle Royale. I think it is basically a Battle Royale. And Fall Guys has always been very honest to itself. It came out, at a good price point. It knew what its audience was, and it did really well. Everyone was on Twitch streaming it. Tim the Tapman trying to get a win on Fall Guys was one of the funniest things I've watched on Twitch in the last year. And yes, you could say there's not much longevity in the game. You play a bit, you play an hour, maybe 2 hours, and then you're kind of done with it, and you put it away and you go play something else. What's the problem with that? Not every game has to be driven about engagement and engagement optimized matchmaking and making sure that you never ever quit their game. No, Fall Guys, you can tell it's been made by a group of developers who want you to play the game for a bit and enjoy yourself, and then you leave and you go do something else. You go play another game. You go enjoy yourself doing something else. The only reason I wouldn't put Fall Guys higher, it could potentially, I'd say Fall Guys is like bottom of S, top of A. The reason I don't put it higher is, if I'm going to put it top of A, the reason I don't put it higher in S is really because there are some of the game modes which I don't think are the best. Some of them are a bit too luck-based. Some of the team ones are just annoying. Some of them don't knock enough people out. They're not risky enough. I think if this had just way more updates, way more game modes releasing all the time, it would definitely be an S tier. But I think I'm going to put it in A because I wish it just had more updates. But I know it's a smaller team that are actually working on it, and it's still fun to play today. The squads mode they added is really, really good because that way when you get knocked out, you don't feel like, oh, well, I'm not able to play anymore. Okay, so we're going to speed up the pace. Realm Royale. This game goes in top of C tier, I think. Realm Royale, if you guys don't know, it's made by FourEyes, who are pretty much well known as being the bandwagon jumpers. Now, I'm not like a FourEyes hater. I actually like FourEyes games in general. I played a decent amount of Smite, which is their MOBA. I played a decent amount of Paladins, which is an Overwatch clone, but in many ways I actually think is better than Overwatch. And if you guys haven't played it, you should definitely go try it out. Realm Royale was basically high-res taking Paladins. They made Paladins Battlegrounds, which was the original attempt at a Battle Royale, and it was included in the Paladins game as a game mode. And then eventually they released Realm Royale, which was their standalone game. I think it had some decent ideas behind it. I liked the weapon upgrade system, the kind of risk-reward of that. I liked that when you went down, you turned into a chicken and you went around. But there was plenty of other stuff wrong with the game. The game was pretty much abandoned. It had very little replayability. I'm going to put it actually in beta. I'm going to put it bottom of beta because I think it's considerably better than Hyperscape because at least the map was quite fun and some of the mechanics were sort of fun, but it just didn't really feel complete. It felt like there was just stuff missing from it. It felt arcadey to the point of like you just didn't really feel like playing it that much. So yeah, I'll put it in beta. Battlefield 5 Firestorm. I'm going to put this in top of C tier. Top of C tier, please. Can I not put you top of C tier? There we go. I've moved Hyperscape over. Battlefield 5 Firestorm. I don't know how this game wasn't better. I mean, it's Battlefield. You've got literally large-scale combat, solid gunplay. You've got destruction. You know, it's the only Battle Royale which has like proper destruction in it, apart from, I guess, Fortnite, if you're going to call, destroying buildings in Fortnite. But there was just so much wrong with this game. It really just felt like EA and DICE just jumping on the bandwagon and really not committing to it. The map was fairly boring. The looting system was awful. When you killed someone, you had to try and pick up their stuff, was just bad. And the game was just sort of abandoned. Didn't really receive many updates. I also wasn't a big fan of Battlefield 5 as a game. Underneath it, if they made Firestorm for Battlefield 4, then I probably would have been way more enjoyable on it. But I just didn't really like Battlefield 5, and yeah, it just really didn't sit that well with me, this game. Next up is Spellbreak. Spellbreak, let's put you top of B tier. Top of B tier. This could almost be A tier. I think that the biggest issue with Spellbreak is it hasn't had enough advertising. Most people don't really know about this game. It came out free to play on Epic. I think it's now on Steam, and it's still being worked on and developed. It's a really interesting concept. Rather than guns, you've got spells, and if you have like two different gauntlets, like you have like a poison gauntlet and an ice gauntlet, you can like combo spells together and stuff. The kind of problems with the game, the map's pretty boring. POIs are pretty kind of boring. And part of that also stems from the fact that you can just kind of fly around as well quite easily, which means that the actual layout of the POIs doesn't really matter because you just fly in the sky and shoot each other anyway. It feels very spammy. It just feels like I'm spamming abilities on each other. Yeah, I think it's a good game, and I think it actually has potential, and it could definitely move into A tier, but I think it just needs a bit of a push in terms of popularity. They need to do like a really solid update to it and really push it out there, get more people playing it. I think it's an average. I think it's at the top of average, and I'm happy putting it there. Naraka Blade Point. I'm going to put this currently bottom of A tier. Naraka Blade Point is very new, but it's also kind of just quickly become one of the biggest games on Steam. I think this is the reason I picked it up, because I saw so many people were playing it on Steam. If you guys don't know what it is, it's kind of Asian style. So like samurais and stuff like that, and you play with swords and different kinds of weapons, and it's all about like comboing melee weapons. There's a couple of ranged weapons, but there's a lot of melee weapons and combos, and it feels like the game has a pretty solid skill floor, like not too hard, but a really high skill ceiling, so a lot of room to progress, practice your combos and your movement. The game looks lovely, looks really nice. The map is really fun to run around. I feel like there could be a bit of variation in terms of POIs, but the game looks so graphically amazing with that style of like the temples and stuff, and the abilities are really fun to use. And I think this game is really solid. There's a reason why this is being played so much, and I feel like it can only get better. I'll keep it below Battlegrounds because Battlegrounds has that classicness to it, but over time Naraka could definitely creep its way up the A tier for sure. Okay, Arma 3 Battle Royale. Where do I put this one? If you guys don't know, Arma 3 was where Battle Royale all started. Arma 3 was a mil sim, or a military simulator. And it was basically a sandbox game where people mostly used it to basically do like simulated military situations and combat scenarios and stuff. And a lot of that was very complicated to understand. But a developer of mods called Playerunknown, Obviously, he made the H1Z1 Battle Royale, mode, and he also made Playerunknown's Battlegrounds. Moving on from that, but he started by making this mod, and there was a lot of great stuff in this game. Really, really solid tactical gameplay because it's Arma. Really good like looting system, but kind of held back by, I guess, a boring map because it was meant to be really realistic and it used the in-game like areas which were made and stuff. I'm gonna put this middle of B tier. This is the average Battle Royale because it was like the first one. It's the average. Everything else stems off of this, so I think it's a solid place to put it. Is right in the middle of B. The Culling. The Culling. Honestly, release Culling was really, really fun. I actually played quite a lot of it. The Culling had this really interesting like game show system feel that felt really kind of fun to play. The map was, I guess, fairly boring. The system of how you fought each other and how you meleeed each other, and there was like almost this rock, paper, scissors of fighting, felt quite fun as well. But my god, the developers of this game messed up. This game just went to absolute crap. This game basically died. Then they made the Culling 2, which was one of the worst games ever made, genuinely. Then they made like the Culling, I can't remember what it was called. It's like the Culling Classic or the Culling Revival or something, which was meant to like be like, oh, you can come back and play the original Culling. And it was just not good. It was just really bad. I think the Culling has to go. I feel bad because the original one was quite fun. I think it has to go in horrible because the Culling led to the Culling 2 and to the Culling Revival, and it was just. It was horribly managed, really not very good. It's definitely the first D tier on this list. Speaking of D for Darwin Project, a game which many people will never have heard of. I'm going to put Darwin Project, I'm actually going to put it at the top of B. Can I fit it in here? No, it won't seem to let me put it there. There we go. The Darwin Project was this. Once again, it was like a battle royale that's themed around like a game show, but it put you in these like harsh conditions. It was a really, really snowy biome you were in. You had to find campfires. You had to hide from snowstorms. You had to like run around and actually survive as well as play the game. And then in terms of playing the game, it had a really, really fun system of different weapons, different abilities you could use. It brought in, I think it was the first Battle Royale game I played, which rather than having a shrinking circle, it had zones that were going to close off, and that kind of forced you into these engagements when two zones adjacent to each other closed off and you both ran into the same hexagon. The other thing which was really awesome, and I only played it a couple of times, is that this game actually really suited streamers because what they were able to do is control this like announcer, which was this like big robot that flew around and could change the course of the battle. Now, yes, this could make the game very unbalanced if you played in a game with an announcer, but I played on a stream with, I can't remember which streamer it was, but I got into the last 1v1 and he turned on this anti-gravity mode, and then we were like jumping around the map and we were trying to like shoot bow and arrows at each other, and it was really, really fun. I don't know what this game's doing at the moment. I think it got a full release last year, and I just don't think it's ever. I think it's kind of like Spellbreak. It's got less players than Spellbreak, but I just think it doesn't have enough advertising or a big enough kind of team driving behind it to really get it to the masses. But I think it's a really solid game, so I'm going to put it at the top of my B tier. Okay, Radical Heights. This is horrible. Radical Heights was horrible. Radical Heights was Boss Key Productions, the creators of Lawbreakers, trying to make their money back from, I don't know whatever happened with Lawbreakers, the failure of a game. So they came out and said, we're going to make this Battle Royale called Radical Heights. The only thing this game had going for it was it had a really interesting setting. It had that 80s setting with like the 80s music playing and stuff. Radical Heights. This is just straight up a D tier game. This was Boss Key Productions, the developers of Lawbreakers, deciding they were going to try and make their money back by getting into the Battle Royale space and releasing a really fun, interesting game. Honestly, all this game had going for it was it had this 80s like look to it, which was quite comical, but the mechanics of the game were terrible. The game looked like arse, honestly. It ran like arse when it first released somehow, even though it didn't look that good. All the buildings were like blocks, very little textures. The game was just so simplistic, and it died really quick. So I'm not really going to say much more about Radical Heights. I think there's a team trying to recreate it and make it better. And you know what? For the sake of it, because it's going to come out and it's going to be free, assuming it doesn't get shut down, I will try it for fun. But right now it has to sit at the bottom of my D tier because it was just a failure completely. Population 1 is probably a Battle Royale that a lot of people haven't heard of. It's the only Battle Royale on this list which is a VR, so a virtual reality Battle Royale. I'm going to put Population 1 at the... I'm going to put it at the bottom of A tier. I haven't played enough of it yet, I will say that. I've got a Oculus Quest 2, and I have played Population 1, and it feels really great to play. Now, it's not graphically the most insane game. If you were playing it on your PC in first person like normal, you'd go, these graphics are terrible. But for being in VR and for how the game has to work, and it does a really, really good job. It makes you do a lot of stuff manually, taking out mags, reloading, throwing grenades, drinking energy drinks to get health back. It makes you do a lot of physical stuff, and it's a really hard game because not many people are used to playing Battle Royales in VR. But I think it's really nailing it. It's going through a lot of seasons at the moment. Obviously, it's hard to appeal to the masses because not everyone has a VR headset, but I can guarantee you that if VR was fully mainstream and like as many people had VR headsets as they do have like consoles, everyone would be playing this game. It's really, really awesome. So I'm going to put it in my A tier, probably at the bottom for them at the moment, purely because it can't appeal to the masses as a VR game. Minecraft Hunger Games. A lot of people are going to probably think I'm mad for doing this, but I'm going to put it right here, middle of A tier. Minecraft Hunger Games. Was Minecraft Hunger Games the first Battle Royale? That might have been... Was that before Arma 3 Battle Royale? If you guys don't know, Minecraft Hunger Games, which, I mean, you should have heard of it. It's based on the film Hunger Games, or the book series Hunger Games, where you have all the different people who start in the middle of a big arena, and then you can choose to either run to the center and grab some gear and some weapons from chests, or you can choose to run out and try and scavenge stuff out, and then it becomes like a normal Battle Royale. Last alive wins, and there's an area which like pushes you into the center. I think that was there to start off with. But really, the reason I have to put this at the top was that this game has just always just done the right thing. It's still popular to this day. It's been out for absolutely ages. And with it being like a game genre within Minecraft, there are people constantly making new incredible maps for the game, pushing it even further, adding more and more crazy stuff onto the maps. I'm not going to talk... I could talk for ages about Minecraft Hunger Games because I genuinely used to play it loads when I was younger. It does a lot of stuff right. It really doesn't fall over on itself. It's Minecraft at the end of the day, so there's not much it could do wrong, but the gameplay's solid. And it does better than a lot of the other Battle Royales on here in terms of it attracts a lot of players. It has a lot of updates. It's got a lot of new content, a lot of new things to try, a lot of replayability. I guess the only thing which holds it back is the fact that it's in Minecraft. So there's certain mechanics of just hitting people with swords that aren't as, I guess, mechanically intensive. But then there's stuff like ender pearls, and there's stuff like using a fishing rod and stuff that some people are absolutely insane with, seeing everything that people are doing in Minecraft PvP. So yeah, middle of A tier. I think it's actually a really fun game. Ring of Elysium. A lot of people probably won't have heard of this one. I'm going to put Ring of Elysium next to... I'm going to put it above H1Z1. I think Ring of Elysium is actually quite similar to H1Z1 in terms of it's very simple. It's pretty much just about running around, picking up guns, shooting people. It's kind of like PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, and in many ways, I actually think it's better than PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. But the thing which holds it back is it's just very basic. There's not many high highs when playing Ring of Elysium. You feel like you win a game and you go, yay, I won. There's not like, oh my god, that was such a crazy end game. It's just a very basic game. It's a Tencent Games creation. So it kind of appeals to... I guess it's just made for the mass market. It's not that interesting overall. Don't think it's had a crazy amount of development since I last played it, but I could be wrong. So it's an average game. It's an average game. Then we've got Totally Accurate Battlegrounds. I'm going to put this in bad. I'll probably put it above Firestorm. It's kind of like Fall Guys. It's a very honest game. It's very honest in terms of what it's trying to do. It's not trying to appeal to the masses and be like the next big Battle Royale. If you guys don't know what Totally Accurate Battlegrounds is, it's essentially It's like a troll game, really. It's everything's really weird in it. You can get all sorts of weird weapons, and you run around, and it's like your arms flail around, and it's a bit of a joke game. I can't put it above C tier. I'm not really going to talk much more about it because, yeah, it's just a bit of a joke game that's a bit of fun, but it's not really stood the test of time. Battlerite Royale, I decided to put this one in here. So Battlerite is a game where you control a character. It's kind of like you control them from above. It's kind of like you're playing like WoW Arena, a World of Warcraft Arena, and you're moving around. You've got different abilities and stuff that you can use. I'm going to put it... I'll probably put it above Arma 3 Battle Royale. I think that it's just above average in terms of what you can do in it. It's got a really solid skill ceiling and not too bad a skill floor to play. It looks good. I don't even know if this game's still really being developed on. I don't think it's got a big enough player base, really. Yeah, it's average, but it's quite fun. Islands of Nine is like joint bottom. I think it might be worse than Radical Heights. Yeah, if you haven't heard of this game, then I don't blame you. This game released probably as like a money grab, or well, it was a free-to-play game, but it basically released, and it was just... Actually, I don't think it was. I don't think it was free. It wasn't free. It was awful. It was just awful. It was like you run around on this like crisis, like jungle-looking area. You pick up really boring guns, run around in trees, and shoot each other. I'm not even going to talk much more about it. If you want to look up some gameplay of it, it released in the heights of PUBG, probably just trying to like steal some of PUBG's thunder, and my god, it failed. My god, it failed. And lastly, Blood Hunt. Blood Hunt. Masquerade Blood... Is it Vampire Masquerade Blood Hunt? It released fairly recently. I'm going to put it kind of bottom of average. I think it's pretty fun in some ways. It looks really good. The idea that you're a vampire and you have to like go like get blood from humans in order to like survive and keep going is kind of cool. But at the end of the day, it just feels like another third-person battle royale. I don't think it does anything that crazy. I feel like it could creep up. A lot of the games on here that are new could definitely creep up the list. But for now, it sits in B. And there we go, guys. That is my full Battle Royale tier list. So we do have the big three at the top. I don't think I can put anything else in the S tier at the moment because none of them have stood the test of time like these three games have since their releases. Warzone, I hate to say it, is, I think, the best overall Battle Royale game, looking at it holistically. Is it the one I would play right now if I wanted to pick one Battle Royale to play like right now? Maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe I'd play something else. But I think that when the little things that I don't like about Warzone get fixed, which are easy fixes, it easily becomes the game I'm always going to play. I like Apex, I like Fortnite, but Warzone still stays as the best one for me that I enjoy playing. Anyway, guys, thank you very much for watching. Hopefully you've stuck around. If not, hopefully you jumped around in the timestamps below and got all my opinions on all these games. If you want to do this tier list, I can give you guys a link to it. Comment down below if you want that. Anyway, guys, I hope you've enjoyed. I will catch you guys in my next video. Bye-bye.